Let's take a look at the cheating update. Oh boy, 200,000 cheaters banned. Wow. Oh, it looks like they had to make a post on it. Let's take a look at this real quick, guys. 200,000. Oh my god, that's so amazing. That's not, by the way. I still remember taking a look at PUBG, which definitely does a better job at banning cheaters, and BattleEye, where they ban like 200,000 people in like 1 month. Obviously, there's a lot more people playing PUBG at its pinnacle, at its height, than there are playing Dead by Daylight. Take a look at this. Charles needs permissions again, doesn't he?
Google Cloud. Cheating is an ongoing battle in any online game, and Dead by Daylight is no exception. There is a never-ending arms race between game developers and cheat makers to find and fix new vulnerabilities.
Oh shit.
Tackling these vulnerabilities has
Cat
always
mouse,
been
guys.
and
We've
will
talked
remain a
about
top
that.
priority
Just like
for
antivirus
us.
and viruses.
Lately, many of you have shared your experiences playing against cheaters, and we have no intention to leave you in the dark. First and foremost, we are abundantly aware of the ongoing situation, and we have been treating it very seriously. To put it bluntly, cheating sucks, and while we have made many measures to prevent it, it frustrates us just as much as you to hear that someone ruined your experience. We tend to stay quiet when it comes to cheating to avoid giving cheat developers vital information, but given recent events, we've decided to pull back the curtain and shed some light on what we've been doing to combat cheating and what we'll be working on moving forward. Please forgive any vague language in this post. We cannot share any information which could be used to make it easier to cheat.
200,000 cheaters banned, 50,000. This game, by the way, has existed for 6 years, so that's not a lot. That's not a lot. And 50,000 this year alone just means how little they've banned in the past, by the way. And that's also not a lot, depending on how many people play this game. Yeah.
In Dead by Daylight, we have zero tolerance for cheaters. Once we detect someone has cheated, or is trying to cheat, their account is permanently banned from the game. There are a few ways we address cheats: automated bans. We work with our anti-cheat partner, Easy Anti-Cheat, to report and track new cheats. If the anti-cheat detects one of these being used, they are automatically banned. In-game countermeasures, we make changes to both the game client and dedicated servers to prevent cheaters from doing certain things. This lessens the impact of cheats and reduces the amount of damage they can do. Manual bans, we investigate your reports and manually block cheaters. This is crucial when a new cheat has not yet been tracked by the anti-cheat. In the last 7 days alone, we have banned over 2,000 cheaters, contributing to a total of over 200,000 banned over the lifetime of the game. Additionally, we have continued to expand our team and processes to deal with cheaters more efficiently. There is still work to be done, but our team has made considerable efforts to strengthen various aspects of the game, such as preventing modification to certain game files, to block specific avenues for cheaters to exploit and lessen the impact of the cheats that surface.
So the problem with posts like this, guys, is it just turns in, unless it gets technical, this is just a lot of word of mouth. And I'll get to it. I'm not going to rain on the parade just yet. We're going to wait till the end of the post in order to cover this. Is this actually thought it was interactive. Future improvements, live, fix various vulnerabilities, fall 2022, players sniping prevention. That's not anti-cheat. That's anti-stream stuff, and it does not count. Additional fail-safes. Improved support tools in early 2023. Player report feedback 2023. Beyond continued support. This is the most generic timeline I've ever fucking seen. Okay. We'll rain on the parade at the end of this, guys.
Going forward, we plan to further bolster the game against cheaters. This will be done in various ways. First, we will continue to identify and fix vulnerabilities to limit the effects of cheats. This includes additional measures to prevent player sniping, forcefully joining a specific player's lobby.
That shouldn't even be a thing.
The first version of this fix is currently slated for this fall, and we'll continue to monitor the situation to ensure that it does not resurface. Fixes like these will be an ongoing process. Second, we will be adding
Cheat lobbies.
fail-safes to commonly exploited portions of the game. For example, should a match ever continue beyond the end game collapse for longer than 5 minutes, the game will forcibly end. Additionally, the max game
Hey.
time will be reduced from 2 hours to 1 hour or less.
Wow.
This particular change is planned for this Q4 2022,
Jesus
and
fucking
further
Christ.
measures are being explored. Third, we will continue to
They make it
implement
sound like they're
server-side
milestones.
validation where possible. This takes authority away from a cheater's game client
shit,
and puts
there's
it
a
on
lot
a
of it.
dedicated server, making cheating much more difficult. This is an ongoing process. Fourth, we have improvements in the works for both our player support tools to better deal with cheats internally, and in-game report system to give you feedback on when a player you've reported was banned. Player reports are a keystone of our
Like
cheat
Overwatch.
prevention measures, and providing
That's
this
nice, but
feedback
not
is
something I
essential
really
to
like
letting
care
you
about.
know that your reports are being dealt with seriously. These improvements are scheduled for Q1 2023. Beyond in-game improvements, we will be communicating on our progress against cheats more regularly as part of our developer updates and beyond. We want to keep you in the loop and share as much information as we safely can. Last but not least, we want to stress that these are by no means the only measures we are working on, but rather the ones we can safely share with you at this time. How you can help while cheating will always be dealt with as swiftly as possible. Your help is invaluable. There are a few ways you can help is in the fight against cheating. The best way to help is to use the in-game report system. These reports are critical and help us identify possible cheaters. If you have a video of someone cheating, you can also send it to our support team through this link, http URL. Beyond reporting cheating you encounter,
it doesn't do
our
it. That's
support
good.
team is always available should you have any information on potential exploits or cheats. Fostering a safe, cheat-free experience in Dead by Daylight is and will always be a top priority for the team. As with any online game, cheating is an ongoing battle, and we remain committed to making cheating as difficult as possible. We have been working diligently to limit the number and impact of cheats, and we hope that this post shared some insight into the work we've been doing behind the scenes. Going forward, we hope to keep you in the loop with regular communications regarding cheating and share as much info as we safely can.
First off, good for them. One thing that is nice that is confirmed here is there's manual bans where they manually investigate and check it out. By the way, once again, they didn't say at any point here they can observe games, which is what I was hoping for, but at no point did they say, hey, we can manually observe people in game. And that's what I was really hoping for, but there's nothing here actually saying this. And I guess maybe that's too much information. I don't think so. Whether or not they have willfully decided to not include that, or whether or not that's actually present. I mean, in Kill Your Friends games, you can actually have an observer, which is why I do think they can manually observe games. If you report someone, and if someone gets enough reports, someone can watch the game that these people are in and see whether or not they're doing stupid shit. So, I was hoping for that, but it doesn't exist here. 200,000 cheaters, guys. That's not a lot. As I mentioned before, when PUBG went live with Battle Eye, it was like banning 200,000 people in a month. Obviously, PUBG has a lot more people playing. That being said, Dead by Daylight is not a small game in any way, shape, or form. There's a lot of people that'll look at Steam charts and go, oh, look at all the Steam charts. The majority of players that play this game, I'm very certain, are not actually Steam players. And obviously you can say something about the share on Epic and Windows Store and Stadia because they're PC players. Majority of players are definitely console. And I generally don't see a lot of globes. I do see globes at high MMR. But when I get a 4-globe lobby, that's why it's so fucking weird. When I get a 4-globe lobby, very weird shit. But globes, I'm very certain, are very, very common. Specifically, console players are very common at like mid-MMR, even maybe mid-high MMR. Like, it's just that the input method that they're using sucks, which is a gamepad. Gamepads should not be a thing anymore. I don't know why they are. Beyond like party games or racing games or flight sims, they really need to take away aim assist, and it should never be a thing ever again. And they should give them a keyboard and mouse when they're on console. They are allowed to use keyboard and mouse. I don't know if that's Microsoft imposed. I don't think it is. Game companies just choose to keep the gamepad on consoles, even though they can definitely plug in a keyboard and mouse. They don't give them the option to do so. And that's on developers for not doing that, like Apex. But if they have the option for keyboard and mouse on console, They should not have an option for aim assist. Aim assist should go away the moment they have an option for keyboard and mouse. And that's because keyboard and mouse are just a better input method. With the exception being linear input. If you guys know, linear input is where I can vary an input. So you have a key and you're pushing it down. You can go like this. A joystick does this, right? It's not 100% and off. That's what a keyboard is. A joystick can go 0 to 100%. It can vary the input. So linear input is something like that. You can get linear keyboards. They're very weird and have a lot of problems, but you can get a linear keyboard. That aside, and that is only good. Linear input is only good for certain things, mainly driving games, especially racing games, driving games, or flight, where you have to vary your input to yaw and what's the other one? I don't know. Yaw and ye or whatever it is. But yeah, it's the linear input is made for a certain kind of input, and it's better for it. It is not better for things like first-person shooters, where you need accurate clicks like an RTS, especially RTSs. Yeah, they suck, and that's why they really need to go away. And I'm not saying you should still be able to use a gamepad on a computer for sure, because some people have disabilities. You should not get aim assist though. You should not get assistance in your ability to aim with the controller. And that's where some very gray exploits are coming in right now, where people are playing Apex and being able to use a Zim or a mouse keyboard interpreter and basically use a mouse and keyboard as a gamepad and basically just get aim assist, which is insane that that's even a thing in the first place. But another reason that it shouldn't exist is because people can exploit it, but also because it gives you a false sense of your own accomplishments, that you think you're actually able to do this, when in fact it's just aim assist. I know Call of Duty would be absolutely fucking bonkers watching two people without aim assist try to kill each other. That's just the way it should be. And at the end of the day, if you're more skilled on the sticks, as the kids say, if you're more skilled on the sticks than the next kid on the sticks, even if you guys both are just like aiming around like this, and eventually one of you kills the other guy, usually by strafing back and forth over the top of the guy and not actually using the aim at him, good for you. Good for you. But you're going to get creamed the moment you meet someone that's on keyboard and mouse. That's just the way it's going to be. Yeah, I really do. Aim assist is horrible. It's catering to the lowest common denominator to give them the ability to kill stuff. Is basically what it comes down to. Like with Call of Duty, is to give people at the bottom level that, we're talking about fun. Killing people is fun in first person shooters, right? And if you're at the bottom of the pyramid and you can't kill anyone, it's not fun for you. So they give you artificial skill to do that. The whole reason kill streaks exist in games like that is so you can have fun by basically camping in a corner and eventually getting even more kills for that serotonin and dopamine, right? We're getting kind of off subject here. But there gray areas do exist, even putting aside cheating. There's gray areas with pre-existing mechanics that exist in games. Something that's kind of curious here, guys, is the fact that, by the way, this timeline is just random shit. This doesn't mean fucking anything. Anti-stream snipe stuff, this right here, the being able to hide your UI is not like this huge undertaking. I have no fucking idea why it took them months. And by the way, it was until people bitched about it. It's not like they cared all of a sudden. It was because people were bitching about it. And this should have been in the game a long time ago. It doesn't take that much effort to hide a UI name. I can guarantee you it does not take that much effort to hide a UI name. I don't know what kind of programmers they have at BHVR, but yeah, other games can like instantly do it. And like what they did in games, they just chose to hide the user. Like the first attempt at it was just, hey, turn off the usernames. Is like zero effort. Turn off the usernames in the game. And you're like, what? What about the other usernames? And they're like, yeah, no, just turn off the usernames in game. And you're like, okay, like it's a variable. It's literally a variable. And then they could just have an option to choose just a random variable that picks from a list, right? Like meg02, or it could be the person's name, which is what it already was. It doesn't take that much effort. I don't program this game, and I know it wouldn't take that much effort to change a user interface object. It's not that much effort. Why it took so long, I have no fucking idea. This isn't like a milestone that'd be like, oh my god, these developers are so fucking amazing. This is not a milestone I would clap over. This is why I have been criticizing them, guys, and I mentioned that we keep going back to this because I think it's important to put this into perspective here. They earned 221 million Canadian in 2021. 221 million, this is from Wikipedia. Earned 221 million in revenue in 2021, and they can't hire competent anti-cheat developers. The fuck? This isn't an indie company. I think their excuse is a lot of people think they're indie. The moment you see that number and your eyes just pop out, that's not indie development anymore. That is where you're getting up to AAA studio. How much does DICE make in a year? I bet they aren't even close, and they definitely have better anti-cheat, even though their anti-cheat's laughable. Let's see. DICE Wiki game company. I think they're publicly traded. They're part of EA. Revenue. Let's see. DICE company revenue. Up, they're negative last year, apparently. According to this random Google website, in 2020, they made 111 million, and they were negative. Yeah. They made half as much. DICE made half as much as BHVR did. And BHVR runs a party game. Suppose a party game, right? They run a party game. You can definitely afford to hire 6 anti-cheat developers for Dead by Daylight. And then have them all work closely together to fix this shit, and then put your customer service representatives on Overwatch or whatever you want to call it, where they actually observe games when they aren't answering tickets, and train them to look for stuff that's sus as shit, and then add game tools that the game anti-cheat developers could add game tools that will do things like track speed, track user speed. Anyways, guys, so that was the first indicator here. Is let's break down stuff, guys. This is not something I would clap for. This is something that is a UE element that should have been in the game years ago. I don't know why this had to wait till now to happen. This game's been out for 6 years. It's not like they don't know that streamers exist, because, I mean, Otz is in his own streamer MMR, so he plays against derps all the time, so it's obviously true that they're catering to streamers in some way, shape, or form. They have Shirt Your Survivor or something like that. Shirt Your Streamer, I don't know what it is. And then also the Fog Whisperers. So they obviously know the streamers exist. This should have been in the game, and it was very easy for them to do, I guarantee you, unless they have some weird fucked up shit where they were breaking parts of the game by trying to add this, which I don't know why it would happen, unless they were like referencing the username in the fucking UE or something stupid, which, I mean, it's BHVR once again. This is not a milestone. These are all just random things. I mean, the feedback is something that is a little bit more nuanced. I mean, everyone likes that. That's good. You know, I don't really care whether or not they tell me if I actually help ban someone, because I don't care that much. I'm one or done. At this point in my life, guys, I've learned that there's going to be people that cheat in every single fucking game. And it's going to depend how good the anti-cheat is going to determine how many people cheat, and whether or not there's incentives, some monetary things that will encourage them to cheating. Streaming is definitely one of them, by the way. Monetary things, tournaments, cheating, and then also how big the game is will determine how many people cheat as well, or want to cheat at it. Things like Apex or Fortnite are very big, especially for streaming. If you can look good in front of a bunch of people, that makes you money, and there's a monetary reason to do it. Let's move on here, guys, to stuff that is a glaring problem in the game, and it's weird that it hasn't been fixed. One is cheat lobbies that can pull you in to a group. This is the only game I have ever played in which cheaters can make you join a lobby to cheat with you. This is the only game I have ever played in which cheaters can forcibly pull you into their lobby or go into your lobby, clear it out, and then get all their cheater friends to join it. This is the only game that's been like it. And it is an absurd security vulnerability if they're capable of doing this, which they are. And it is obscene that it can even happen in the first place. There's a reason, like, I rotate all of my user information on Steam just to make sure no one ever finds me ever. It is so detached. It is so detached from my Twitch profile. There should be almost no way that anyone is capable of figuring out who I am on Steam comparatively to who I am here. Unless I leak my username, which occasionally happens, and then I just rotate constantly anyway, so it doesn't even fucking matter if I leak my Steam name. It doesn't matter. And putting aside the fact that I use generic names and there's probably multiple people that use the name, just rotate through. Just keep moving on. And yeah, like, I do that to avoid stuff. This is the only game where I've had to do this, by the way. I'm sure if I played Rust, that'd probably be another one. where I have to rotate through and constantly change my information to avoid running into cheat lobbies, as I call them, where people will just pull me into their lobby or vice versa. They'll get pulled into mine, clear out my lobby, which is why I leave, by the way. If people clear out, like, 2 people leave and then people just start circulating through it, I'll just leave the lobby. I'm not doing that shit anymore, because every time that happens, it just turns into this weird game where I just run into cheaters constantly. Not doing that. Just like there's all these weird nuances and rules I've had to come up with in order to kind of get around it, because I am the unsavory fuck, right? I am the person that tunnels and camps. And we've even had people live on my stream who have rage cheated that said, we cheated because you camped and tunneled. And yeah, that just shows you once again how entitled and spoiled the community is, where they think tunneling and camping is the equivalent of cheating. And like actual cheating. And you're just like, those things. Anyways, the fact that this is turning into an accomplishment where they're like, yeah, hey guys, that's not the one. This is it. They call it sniping someone's lobby. Right there. Oh boy, something that has been in the game for 5 years, actually less than that because it was peer-to-peer originally. Something that's been in the game for a long fucking time. They're finally fixing. Oh my god, wow, that's amazing. And once again, this is not something that should even happen. My guess is it's some sort of weird system that's being exploited, which is like kill your friends. They're exploiting the kill your friends system, or they're exploiting like their admin tools where they can join someone's game and observe it. Like there's probably some sort of admin tools where you can do stuff like that, where you can join someone's game, right? Like we're just talking about with manual observation. So not only do they join the game, but then they also just kick out the players that are in the game so more of their friends can join it to fuck people. That's pretty absurd. Putting aside the IP leaks, which they even talk about here. Yeah. The fact that this exists, good for them for tackling it, but this shouldn't even exist in the game in the first place, and I'm not going to give them accolades for doing so. This is putting aside normal cheats, guys. This is the really egregious stuff that shouldn't be in the game. This is the stuff you fault them for. The big things, the big ones here, is the cheating lobbies, which are immediately noticeable, the holding the game hostage, and then killers being survivors, who like you can throw hatches at Ghostface. Yeah. So let's move along here. The second one being fail-safes when a game it lasts for a 2-hour match. We're reducing the max game time to 2 hours. Why is it even an hour? I don't know. Why would they ever assume anyone wants to play this game for an hour? I have no fucking idea. Even 30 minutes would be the absolute maximum that I think anyone be in a game. And putting aside the fact we've talked about the game should end sooner for other reasons other than holding the game hostage, simply because that turns into the survivor's fault for not actually doing stuff. 20-minute maximum, endgame collapse starts, hatch will not open under any circumstance, and survivors still need to finish the gen. Bam, done. Because games normally take 8 to 10 minutes, and if they take longer than that, that means the survivors are just doing shit they aren't supposed to. Games that take longer than that should never happen. So, yeah, we talked about that. I tweeted about that for the last year. It's on my Twitter, and the reason I put it on Twitter is to put it in stone and chisel it into the fucking stone. Chisel it into the fucking stone so that the world can know that I thought of it fucking first, so fuck you. No, I thought of it first. My streamer thought of it first. No, they didn't. They literally heard it somehow through the dissemination of information on the internet from me. Thought of it first. No, you didn't. Yeah. But putting that aside, the very fact that someone can hold, and you can tell what's being abused, by the way. So you can immediately tell in endgame collapse, the one thing that holds true when survivors are holding the game hostage is they have to be hooked. The game is checking to see whether or not someone is hooked, not how long the endgame collapse timer has been running for. It's checking to see how long people have been hooked for, and it is saying, hey, look, this guy is still hooked. We can't end the game yet because they haven't been sacrificed. It is waiting on the hook. That's why if you see an endgame collapse where it's being held hostage, there's always someone on the hook, which is why killers can't hold the game hostage. And the one example, there's all sorts of different fucking ways of cheating. You know where survivors hook themselves? I've seen a killer, or not a survivor, another cheating survivor hook a survivor and just, like, they float around on, it looks like a levitating hook they float around on. What the fuck is wrong with this game? I don't even know. So, even if someone is on a hook, it doesn't, and there's a killer doing it, by the way, and it wasn't a survivor. That was in Spook and Juke's game. I saw him while he's getting held hostage, a killer that was running around cheating, and he hooked the survivor without even being near him. He just hooked the survivor, hooked Spook, and he was running around. He was levitating while moving around slowly, like crawl speed, on a hook. The fuck. The literal fuck. So, some things I've noticed that they have to have happen in order for you to hold the game hostage is you have to be on a hook forever. You have to be hooked forever, and it seems like you can't hold the hook hostage. If the person is on it, they'll just eventually die like normal. So it is the player that has to keep themselves. So it has to be a survivor that holds the game hostage, and they have to be on a hook. So you can immediately tell. I don't know what kind of programmers they have at BHVR, but they got to be borderline brain dead. You can immediately tell that the survivor has to be on the hook, and that the game will not end if there's a survivor still on the hook. And you could immediately set up a timer where they just self-destruct if they've been on the hook for longer than 4 minutes. I don't know why, and it doesn't matter. It's like you have fail-safes right after the fact. Endgame collapse has started. Endgame collapse is still going a minute after, the maximum amount of time. End the game. There's nothing that can hold the game hostage for more than a minute after it's supposed to end. That doesn't make sense. End the game. Logically, it does not make sense. Kick everyone to the desktop, crash the game. You don't need to end the game gracefully. It is clear, and then you put a red star next to their name on a database where they're like, hey, this guy has been in this game where nuclear option is exhibited 5 times. This doesn't make sense. Maybe there's something wrong here. Either it's a streamer that's getting stream sniped or it's someone that's cheating, right? If you are getting past endgame collapse by an extra minute where the game has maximal time and then the game is still going for a minute afterwards, that means something is broken in the game. That means something isn't working right. Nuclear option. And then add an asterisk to the people that are still in the game. And then crash them to the desktop. They're smart enough where they can literally start the game again and get back into the game. They don't need a graceful exit. If you can't actually exit them out of the game, disconnect them from the server, then crash the fucking game. It's easy. It's fucking easy, and I guarantee you programmers can fucking just exit the game. It's incredibly easy. And they don't even do that. Instead, we have a case where someone sits on a hook for 2 hours and the game doesn't end. This is not something that's applaud-worthy. This is not something where like, hey guys, wow, this is so amazing. They fixed stuff. This is like a severe vulnerability in their game that is broken. And they're like, hey guys, yeah, we're going to do this to help with cheating. And you're like, no, the real cheating, we aren't even getting to the real cheating yet. This is egregious, severe vulnerabilities in your game that you are patching up. We haven't gotten to the normal cheating yet, which we will. Server-side validation, this is a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things here, but yeah, a very basic one is checking how long endgame collapse has been working for. Longer than a minute, end the game, crash the desktop. Crash the desktop, boot them to the lobby. It doesn't fucking matter how you get them out of the game, you just get them out of the game, and don't give them a disconnect protection. And then you add +1 to their game profile, so you're like I'm describing like an anti-cheat, not mantra, manifesto, anti-cheat, what would be a good word for that? Flowchart or something. I don't know. Like a direction of attack that they should be looking at things. And then you go, hey, there's an asterisk. Here's a spreadsheet with 5 million players on it. Hey, CSRs that aren't doing anything. Why don't you go observe matches with all these guys that have hundreds of asterisks on their profile? This guy has been in dubious scenarios hundreds of times. Maybe you should go look at him manually and see what he's doing. And that's where it starts coming down to game tools where they can actually see how fast people are running, right? Yeah. Just third, yeah, okay, validation. This is starting where it gets into real cheating, but this is a little just ties into number 2. This is where it ties into number 2. Improvements for dealing with cheats internally, which once again I assume means that they can actually read players' speeds. Yeah, like I wanted, like I have this sitting here on my desktop, guys, where earlier this year I was thinking about employing a custom developer for a couple $1,000s in order to make me something where I could see people's speeds on my screen, which is technically a cheat. Yeah, I have this sitting here where I was going to commission a developer. We spent time on stream. Made different checkboxes here in order for things that I wanted to be like milestones that need to be met in order for it to be amicable, and then the amount of money I was going to pay them, and crypto addresses for delivery and stuff like that. Yeah. I was actually to the point where I was going to pay a developer a couple $1,000s to give me the ability to not cheat, but validate what survivors are doing on my end. And I can guarantee you that an actual programmer could program this. Whereas these guys can't even fucking manage to do this internally. And you're just like, once again, they hire 6 6 anti-cheat developers to work on a small team to fucking fix this garbage. Oh, apparently my playlist isn't playlisting anymore. What's going on here? It's on loop. Oh, shit. Shit, guys. What the fuck is this? And okay, they're gonna tell us when we ban people. I really don't care, but good. That means, oh my god, they're doing something. Yay! It'd be kind of curious to see how many false positives I'd have. That's interesting in and of itself. If I'm actually getting like, even if I'm like 30% false or 70% false positives, where I'm like 70% of the people don't get banned that I report. I report a lot of people, so 30% of the people that I report is still a substantial number of people, and that's still fine by me. And I don't think it's that low, but that would be absurd, and it would still I'd still mean that the amount of reports I'm making are actually pretty meaty. But anyways, putting that aside, I really don't care. What really matters is where we start talking about validation, where the server can look and see what speed survivors are moving at, verify it, and they go, hey, this guy isn't supposed to be moving this fast. He keeps moving this fast. Maybe there's something wrong, right? Maybe he shouldn't be moving at 105% forever because he doesn't have any perks. Like, you can easily tell. Like, egregious stuff, guys, the big ones is like, survivors can change out their perks in the game when they're cheating. And I assume Killer can do the same. He can have all the perks at the same time. How is that possible? The perks are set in stone at launch. The server should not be able to change them. When a killer is using a perk that he doesn't have at the start of the match, or a survivor, that should be a ban. Like, what is going on here? And putting aside the fact they can't really do that because the game is so broken, you can apparently give other survivors and other killers cheats. You can give them perks that they don't have at the launch of the game. What the fuck? It is so broken that one client can influence another client when you have a server system. The fuck is going on? It's not peer-to-peer anymore. What is going on here? How is that even a thing? I don't know. But it exists. And it's abused. Just like mind-blowing shit, guys. Jesus Christ. So they do not get any applause for this. It's good that they're finally fixing the cheat lobbies. The targeted cheat lobbies. It's good that fixing those. The fact that they exist in the first place, mind-blowing. The fact that rage cheating exists in the first place is mind-blowing. The fact that killers can play as survivors is mind-blowing. It's not even in the game either. Like, they can be in the lobby and you can see the killers playing a survivor. It's mind-blowing. Like, how broken this game it is beyond mind-blowing. And I've mentioned it before because this really fucking matters. Yeah, this is absurd that this even exists in the first place. So they don't get any applause from me for that. The stuff that really is going to start mattering is when they do things like start tackling movement speed. Wall hacks are much more difficult, but wall hacks, movement speed, the aim assist fuckery, oh god, like where you get cheaters that will aim assist you, where I'll swing into a random person that I'm not even looking at. Yeah, you can totally tell it's fuckery. Yeah, mind-blowing. There's all sorts of weird shit where they can change the size of their models, for instance. That shouldn't even be a thing. It still exists in the game. The fact that TrapperBot was in the game. TrapperBot got patched, but the fact that TrapperBot existed. Absurd. Absolutely fucking absurd. Holy fuck. Yeah, they want the last two survivors to hide, apparently. I don't know what kind of game they're playing once again, but if they're playing in a lobby where they expect two survivors to win in 30 minutes, it has to be a really shit killer. Like, the only time where two survivors can potentially win is either if they're cheating, which I have seen, by the way, or if, like, one gen is very close to being done and they do some, like, trading of perks at the end of the game in order to get out. And some, well-timed coordination with, like, exit gates, which also occasionally does happen. But once again, that doesn't usually... If you have time to regress both generators, like, all the generators to 0, there's no hope for the survivors getting out. If you have three generators and they're sitting at 0%, there's almost no hope the survivors are getting out. And they shouldn't. At that point, the game's fucked. They're done. Each VAR likes keep giving chances to survivors no matter what, and it's fucking weird considering the way it works is it's the hardest to play against 4 survivors, but when you get down to less and less survivors, it becomes much more manageable, and that's when the game ends. Because that's the way the power curve works. See, the survivors are most powerful. They have 4 players, and that's it. Yeah, I don't understand why this works, but this is... Yeah, they're not getting any accolades for me for this, guys, but good that they're tackling, like, some of the egregious shit in the game. That's pretty ridiculous. A cheater in True's lobby made it so he sacrificed the survivor from the first hook insta-kill. Yeah. Yeah, and then it looks like True's the one that's cheating, right? Yeah, I still report people, by the way, if I think someone's cheating. Even if someone's trying to influence them, I'll report them for cheating. And if they aren't cheating, it's not gonna matter because they aren't gonna get reported again, right? But if they are cheating, however, it's gonna be different. Yeah, it's fucking weird that can even happen where a client can influence another client. Why? Why? I don't know. That is really weird. Once again, they need to hire actual competent security experts for this game, and they don't have them. Yeah, we're gonna highlight this, guys, and upload it probably right away, just so we get on top of this. Pretty absurd. Yeah, I mean, just bravo to you guys for acknowledging, I guess. But this is just like exactly what Bluehole did with EFT. They waited till things blew up because they can't sell the anti-cheat DLC. I've mentioned this before. You can't sell the anti-cheat DLC, which is why developers oftentimes just completely ignore anti-cheat, because for the most part, it doesn't affect their game. Like it will slowly kill their game. It will definitely kill their game. Just like I'm pretty sure that's why Battlefields always go to shit. It will definitely influence their games. However, from outside, it doesn't look like anything's wrong for your game. People are so stupid, they don't understand what cheating looks like, or they're just like, no one cheats at video games, man. No one cheats at video games. It's just someone playing in their parents' basement 24/7, 365 for the last 5 years of their life. No one plays in their basement. Didn't you know? Didn't you know, guys? Survivors get 1% faster for 1,000 hours. Every 1,000 hours they have in the game, they get 1% faster. I was told this. Survivors told me they get 1% faster for every 1,000 hours. True story. Did you know this? I didn't know this. It was a hidden perk system. Who knew? Who knew? Yeah, just like stupid shit like that. Just, yeah. And by the way, survivors will try to get you to believe that. They won't say it that way, but it is implied that, oh, you just aren't hugging things tight enough. The fuck you are. Like, I can literally, when I've played enough where I know where people are in a kill shack loop, and when they aren't there, I definitely know they're cheating. Because they can only move so fast. My favorite one is when I vault the window and the guy's sitting there on the corner. As Nemesis, I vault that window, you're on the corner. I have enough time to catch you and whip you at the window. And that means survivors will go to the pallet. They'll round out to the pallet or try to dodge the whip or go for I'll usually go for a punch in there, but usually they'll go for pallet. However, if they're cheating, they can vault the window. They can vault the window and then usually crouch there just to BM me, right? At that point, it doesn't even matter. You can just dodge to the side. It won't matter anyways. But I know exactly where they need to be in the loop at exactly what moment. A lot of loops are like that because you can judge based on, it's just like passing a car on the freeway. You know how fast you're going, you know how fast they're going, you know how long it takes you to catch up and pass them and overtake them. It's the same way. It's the same fucking shit, guys. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Yeah, they just want him to accuse the killer, or accuse someone else. Yeah, it's like it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing sort of incident, and then they just like people get wrongfully accused on top of it, and just pretty obscene. I don't know, guys. But yeah, they don't get applause for this. Like the big ones, the big egregious ones here, they're tackling. But the fact that these exist in the first place just shows the severe level of vulnerabilities and sheer competence for the development team in the game. And once again, BHVR is not a small company. We looked at this. 2021, they earned 221 million Canadian in income, in revenue. That's absurd. I don't know if that's revenue or profit. I think that's revenue. That's an absurd amount of money. And they have more than enough money where they can hire competent developers to do this. I don't know if there's pushback and they don't want to rock the boat because the developers they've had, they've had a team for years, right? They don't want to step on anyone's toes. But at this point, your team is so fucking bad that you need to hire some actual talent to fix it. Put them on a payroll and set them on the roof. Like Silicon Valley. Just leave them on payroll, set them on the roof, just let them sun somewhere and just forget about them. Because at this point, it is clear that they're ruining your game. Make some hard decisions here. Like, you can keep them on payroll, just, I don't know, make them do stupid shit. It doesn't really matter at this point because they are hurting your game more than they're helping it. And I get it. People have been in your company. There's loyalty, right? But it had to get to this point with, like, Otz making a video, even though I'm pretty sure Otz is in streamer MMR where he doesn't encounter this shit, like, at all. The rage cheaters I've seen in Otz encounter can't even hold his game hostage or unhook themselves. Like, they're borderline, like, new players. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing. And new cheaters at that. They have no idea what they're doing. He had to release a video on this. This is absurd, though. And, yeah. Like, maybe this is purely because of what Otz released, We've been talking about this for a while, and we've known about this for a while. Streamers getting held hostage on a regular occurrence does not make your game look good. Putting aside Otts, which doesn't get held hostage because stream MMR. You can watch Spook and Jukes. He gets held hostage relatively regularly. You could watch Winter. He's getting held hostage relatively regularly as well. This is pretty insane. Even True, for some reason, doesn't get held hostage that much, but he does occasionally get held hostage. I don't know. I don't know why the bigger your viewer count goes, the less likely you are to get held hostage. Held hostage. That's kind of weird, but that's where we're at. I don't know, guys. This is fucking weird shit. All right, let's make a highlight of this so we can make a tube